When will you address your narcissistic personality disorder? You violate your daughter every time you mention her. I feel so sorry for her because this is just a way for you to continue your emotional abuse and gaslighting. LOL, no. According to you dumb estranged children, everyone in the world just has a narcissistic personality disorder. So today we are clearing up your misconceptions. Your assumptions are wrong. Parental estrangement. I had 4 Diane videos ready to go this week, and I thought so valiantly that I was ready, mentally prepared to listen to this woman's voice as much as I thought I was going to, and I just wasn't. I sat here for hours yesterday telling myself over and over again to start this video, but I just could not do it. I can't handle the sound of her voice, the way that she looks. In these small, tiny snippets of her that I get months in between, I can't imagine having been one of her daughters, but I get exactly why they did what they did. And I have to remember in the process of dealing with people like Diane that it drains me so much because I'm, for lack of a better term, an estranged child. I don't have a relationship with either of my parents, and Diane is a lot like my mother would be if my mother ever spoke English or knew how to use a computer, except she has the self-awareness to act nice around other people. Diane is just awful as a noun. It's who she is, probably who she'll always be. And at twice my age, you'd think she'd learn half as much about the world as I have. And it seems like she hasn't. And that's not to say that I'm smart. I'm really not. That's more to say that I think she's dumb. So here's what we're doing today. We're going to go through her video, but I'm going to try and cut out as much of her as possible because I do not have it in me to listen to her voice, but I'm going to make myself do it. But I'm going to try and save you from hearing it as much. I'll summarize what she says, I'll dry heap off camera, and I'll be a little thankful that the mother that I had was still leagues better than Diane. That's it. Diane, thank you. Thank you for showing me it could have been a lot worse. I was physically, I was starved, I was mentally gaslit. All from the ages of 4 and 14, I was reminded constantly that I would never be anything while holding on to the expectation of becoming a doctor or a lawyer. Oh, and yeah, it could have been worse. I could have had you. So thank you, Diane. We're doing this today. We're doing Bose's latest video on Diane tomorrow. And that's it. I do not want to hear from Diane. I do not want to see Diane. I do not even want to think about Diane for at least a year. Probably a few months. I've been saying shoddy a lot. I think we should bring that back. Like it's 2007. Nah, shoddy, don't stop talking to your mom. If you do, she's going to make YouTube videos and the rest of us have to deal with it. Imagine.
Are estranged parents sharing their experiences with estrangement on public platforms a problem?
No, not at all. Sharing your own experience is exactly what it is. It's sharing your own experience. You should have a place to do so comfortably, safely, and as long as you didn't hurt anyone else. The problem is you are going to lie to yourself and the people around you to make yourself sound better. Oh, I don't know why my daughter left. No idea. Funny how in a room full of estranged parents who act and look just like me, none of us know why our children left. We did this self-reflection. I bought a mirror, and I would make a joke here about Diane being a vampire and not being able to see herself in the mirror, but that doesn't work because she has invited herself in to every space she's in. She's invited herself into being an estranged parent as an expert. She's invited herself into being a car camper as an expert. She's invited herself in to be the person every mother should hope to be. And vampires can't do that. We see the resemblance.
I get a lot of interesting comments on this channel.
I get a lot of interesting comments, and I make sure to heart the ones that actually have nothing to do with me. Everyone assumes that you're estranged from your child, that you did something to earn it. Damn, Diane. That long list of reasons she gave you to show you that you've earned this estrangement just never happened, right? Until you've walked the walk and been through parental estrangement, you have no right to judge. Until you've been one of us, you have no right to tell us what we did wrong. Estranged children will never understand the plight of estranged parents. Therefore, they cannot tell us that we are wrong. However, though we have not been in their shoes, we're going to remind them that they're adults and must take accountability for what they've done to us. Hate. It has caused a lot of problems in the world, but not solved one yet. A comment hearted by the woman who has made her entire channel and personality about hating her daughter, about the resentment that comes from becoming an estranged parent. She gets a comment from All Saints Church. And if there's anything people who have weaponized God to make themselves look and sound better hate more than anything else, it's when someone who has any experience with their religion says, hey, you're wrong. Christians like her do not want to be told by anyone in the church that they are wrong in any way. They don't want to be held accountable to a God they pretend to believe in. They want to just be able to weaponize it. So when All Saints Church says, hey, I can see that you're hurt. Your daughter needed space. If you had respected that boundary, maybe she would have made her way back. But instead, what you did was you showed it to the internet, made an entire video in hopes of manipulating her to get her to come back to you, and all you did was push her away.
There is a faulty assumption in here.
She says that the faulty assumption was to try and shame her daughter. That's not what the video was for at all. She says the video was so that other parents knew they weren't alone because they are often shamed. And if there's anything Diane wants more than a relationship with her children, it's to make herself feel better about the situation. She says because these parents have so much shame, they don't have anyone to talk to, and they don't have anywhere to talk. So it's her job. It's her job to make sure that there is a paid way for them to interact with each other. She finally explains that she made the video over dramatized in order to really convey the hurt that she was feeling having been cut off by a child. The pain of having to force your fist through boundaries over and over and over again. Yes, I understand that your fists hurt. Maybe stop punching through boundaries you were asked to just sit on the other side of. You're not a teenager. You need to understand that no means no, whether that's from a stranger, your husband, or your daughter. Surprise? Don't contact me unless it's an emergency means don't contact me unless it's an emergency. Not because it's your birthday and you want me to say happy birthday to you. Not because it's my birthday and you want to let me know you bought yourself a gift. Not because you just feel like it. And especially not to send me your stupid car camping videos. Who is that for? It's just a glorified road trip. She drives from parking lot to parking lot falling asleep. That's cool, but like, do it for fun, dude. Don't do it because you need somebody's attention.
At the time I made that video, we had been 3 years of no contact.
That's a question I had when rewatching the video, whether or not it was made like in real time and just recorded over the time, or she spent 2.5 days on it 3 years later. It makes a lot more sense for it all to have been recorded at once. Way later, but who am I to say I know anything about cinematography? My favorite movie is Inside Out, and that's because it makes me cry every time. If you know me, you're going to compare me to any movie character ever. It is unfortunately Sadness from Inside Out, and I might as well just start growing out my hair and get her haircut. She then says 1.5 years into their estrangement,
I happened to stumble onto her TikTok account
and then found her talking about her estrangement. I've never brought up those videos, and I'm not going to because she is not a part of this. There's no back and forth. There's no Haley said, Diane said, Haley said, Diane said, and I'm so sorry if you can hear the squeaking from my chair. I've been moving a lot. It is Diane attacking Haley and Haley not at all responding. On Haley's TikTok account, you will find a few videos of her going, things I've learned since cutting off contact with my parents, and it's her finding her independence. It's her getting a few things diagnosed, and it's her finding herself as a person. There's not very many negative things said about her parents directly, and definitely not anything that should have made Diane and Ted angry. Sad, sure, you're allowed to miss your children even if you're the reason they left, but angry enough to try and make a career out of just bashing them is gross, disgusting. I can't think of a worse thing to do. And again, Diane is twice my age. The average lifespan in the US is somewhere in the 70s. Is this what her legacy is going to be? Diane lived and died to have children and then to bash them publicly on the internet. I'm not someone who's worried about how people are going to think of me after I'm gone. I'm gone. It's not any of my business. But I think I'd change my mindset real quick if I was just going to be remembered as a terrible, terrible person. I want to be remembered as the guy who was so incapable of having fun that when he got sad, he would go to Target, buy a fun-sized bag of Twix, and then eat them all in one sitting. And then 3 months later, when he tells people he's been doing that every day, Pay sends him money to buy the next bag. It's kind of wild how when you've spent your entire life not talking about your feelings, your friends don't know how to talk about your feelings with you. So instead, they help you develop and maintain terrible eating habits. I'm not joking. I was sad boy eating one of these a day in my tiny, tiny office in San Diego, California, just to get my calories in. Damn. So much has changed. But you know who probably hasn't changed in the 2 years since that was filmed? Diane.
Estranged adult kids were everywhere.
Yeah, that's kind of your guys' fault.
Well, why not parents? We're people too.
When the aggressors and the instigators feel like they need to tell their side of the story, I don't necessarily feel like I need to listen. I've said it in pretty much every one of these videos. Not every estranged parent is a Diane. Not every estranged parent is a product of having been terrible, awful, disgusting synonyms. But there's a theme here. The theme is the parents that feel the need to overly defend themselves have historically been the problem. There's no love, there's no humility. It's just, actually no, they were the problem, and I can prove it by just yelling very loudly. She says she saw the kids talking about it for the benefit of other children. So she thought, as parents, why can't we talk about it for the benefit of other parents? But you're missing the point here. And the point is you don't listen. You can also take a lot from the kids. Actually, a lot more than you're probably going to get from the parents. The kids can tell you, this is how I felt, this is what I went through. And you can say, oh, I didn't realize that every time I told her no, every time I told her yeah later and it never happened, every time I told her you'll change your mind when you get older, to put her down, it was mean. It was awful. It pushed her away. Instead, you're going to look at people who are in the same situation and mindset as you, go, I don't know. And you go, well, if you don't know, then no one does. Thank you, Brad Pitt, for your insight, says Diane. And they go to shake hands, but Brad Pitt leans in too close and they almost kiss. They come back. Haha, oh my God, imagine. And she goes, no, I have Ted. But Ted's in the back watching with binoculars. He's like, do it. Do it. I want to see that happen. Listen, all right, as a couple, they give me a certain vibe. Also, announcements. Switch 2 came out today. Congrats to those of you who got it today. I'm waiting for Pokemon ZA to come out. Also, it's my birthday in a little under 2 weeks. I will not be reminding anyone. Just kidding, I need the attention. The Norway chess tournament ends tomorrow. I'm a big Magnus Carlsen fan. And if you have not put on deodorant today or taken any of your medications, do so. Dude, I miss having like prescription vitamins, dog. They tasted good. She then mentions that she knows deep in her heart that estrangement has been around since the beginning of time.
Since at least the Bible and probably before that.
Since at least the Bible and probably before that, less than 3 minutes after telling a pastor that, no, actually you're wrong. Granted, it was about her own estrangement, but I think that from the actions she's done, we could probably infer what her motives are rather than just believe what she says while she does something entirely different. I guess that's not entirely true. I do believe her for the most part when she says it was for other parents. It's not for estranged children. It's not for my daughter. But I don't believe her when she says it's to help them. I believe that it's for them, but it's to then get them to join her group chat, to then get them to support her, whether monetarily or emotionally, to ask a bunch of people to come in a room, but only if they're going to agree with you. And when they agree with you, you say, see, everyone in this room agrees with me. Almost like standing in front of Sunday Mass and going, how many of you are Catholic? Most of you? Yeah. So most of the world is Catholic, huh? Most of you agree with me. Not understanding that there's a reason those people are in this room. There's a reason your audience is who your audience is. There's a reason that the people don't like you are on the side of your daughter. And you should have been on her side too. She goes on to explain that though it's been around since the beginning of time, and she knows because she was there, it seems to have also just been a trend lately, probably because of social media. And this trend now happening was happening to not only parents who have been hurtful, neglectful, physically violent, but also to
Normie parents.
Normie parents like her, who did their best, and their best was more than good enough.
You had a husband and a wife, giving their children nice middle-class lifestyles.
She then clarifies these Normie parents are a husband and a wife who gave their children normal middle-class upbringings in the United States. I'm not going to read too far into that, but knowing what Diane has said before, in terms of maybe not heteronormative relationships, I would not be surprised if I saw her write on her Facebook wall one day something like, they're trying to destroy the American family, that gays want to stay married, happy pride. She goes on to say that what's shocking for normal parents like her and Ted is that you could still be ghosted. You could still become estranged for wild, inconceivable reasons like,
Politics or religion or whatever the difference of opinion was.
and I don't want to repeat it for the 50th time, but if your politics are attacking human rights, that's no longer an opinion. Do you think teachers should be paid less and oil companies should be given bigger tax breaks? Weird, but an opinion. Do you think entire groups of people should be eradicated, stripped of their rights, kicked out of the US when these are legal residents? No longer an opinion.
There has been some kind of intolerance.
There is now an intolerance. When I punch down, they no longer just take it. They have started standing up for themselves. They have started punching back. They have started going, I can't handle this anymore. I'm going to leave. But I brought you into this world. I saved you from choking on whatever she said in that one video as a 3-year-old so that I could spend your entire life punching down at you. How could you leave me? I was going to make fun of Diane's punching form, but I remember seeing Bose 2 days ago do this. Bose, I think you're so cool, but we got to work on that. Let's go to a boxing class together. I'll buy you coffee. She mentions that she thinks it's important to talk about uncomfortable things, that we shouldn't shy away from them, which is fine until you realize that every time somebody criticizes her, she tries to copyright strike their work. She deletes their comments. She disavows them. She goes, no. If you say anything bad about me, that is too uncomfortable of a conversation for me to have. I'm going to try and get your content taken down and your channel deleted. She goes on to mention how society is shifting without explaining it too much, but I'll explain it for her because she has before.
Society as a whole is changing.
She's mentioned before plenty of times that children no longer need you. Instead, they are going and choosing family. They're finding friends and other people to love them in the way that you should have, and replacing you with people who are willing to love them in the way that they deserve. Yeah, that is a good consequence of having the internet, of having access to so many people, having the ability to make a living online and move somewhere where you not only enjoy the space, but are enjoyed by the space and by the people in it. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Society has progressed. People like you who are trying to chain people back and pull them into this black hole of despair that you are going to be left behind. And that is not a problem.
Oh, you're just trying to deflect the blame and blah, blah, blah. It's never you. You don't take accountability.
Accurate. Retweet.
None of you know what accountability I've taken.
Dog, you put it all out on the internet. You told us in your very first video that you and Ted sat back, went through years of introspection, and then decided, you're mad. How could she do this to you? She then goes on to say a lot of nothing. It's a yin-yang world. There's a balance. Yes, there's issues in our family. Our daughter has that kind of personality, you know? And that's it. Diane, you made a video where you find out she was diagnosed autistic and you went, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. That makes sense. Of course she's estranged. She's autistic. I'm actually surprised you did not say the words, a normie child would have stayed. A normie child would have felt loved by the way we loved them. A normie child would have understood where we were coming from.
She needed time and space, and we definitely have come around to giving that to her.
You don't get points for violating somebody's boundaries for 3 years and then deciding, okay, I guess she's really not going to talk to us, so now we're going to give her space. You're not giving her space because you want to. You're giving her space because you have to. You're shooting air balls from half court, big dog, and you're not stepping back. You're just not shooting anymore. You know you're going to miss, and I hope to God she doesn't miss you. Little whip for whoever makes it this far. I've been recording for over an hour, so I don't know how long this video is. The good thing about not having an editor is that nobody has to sit through like the 40, 50, 55 minutes of me yapping. That does not make it into the video. Like the amount of things I've said, they're just unnecessary, not mean or even stupid, just like, how did we get here? She doubles down on the society thing, saying that she understands why her child might have left. People change, people evolve, people
change, they evolve, they make new friends, their friends influence them.
But she didn't join a cult. She didn't make friends with people who lied to her. She made friends with people who let her see that what she was experiencing was not normal, and she was able to get out of the situation she was in. Good for her. You accidentally raised somebody strong enough to become their own person. You're never going to honestly be able to say that you're proud of her, but I'll say it. Haley, I hope to God you're not seeing this video, that you've not seen any of Diane's content since you left, but if for any reason you do, I'm proud of you, and there are thousands of other people who are too. She goes back to the original comment she started the video with and responds to the part where the pastor says, you have involved the entire internet. She says, that was not my intention. My intention was to create a small corner community in which parents like me could sit around and just support each other. Instead, too many people have found my video, and my family and I are being hunted down. I don't know that it took her the full 7 minutes to victimize herself, but it had to happen at some point. Like, if we're going to play Diane bingo, I am the victim is the free square.
And making reaction videos.
Reaction and commentary videos that you're so quick to try and strike down. She says it's interesting to see some people come into her channel, watch certain portions of a 17-minute video, and then spew their feelings about her. Diane, I've unfortunately seen every single video that has been available on your channel in their entirety, and even some that are no longer available in their entirety. I think what I've been able to say about you has all been inferred from what you've either directly said or alluded to. She then says that these people are probably just hurting. Yes and no. There are people like me who have the opposite experience as you. I'm not an estranged parent, I'm an estranged child. And so in relaying my experience, yeah, some of it sucks, because it's relatable, and I wish you would just learned from that instead of doubling down. The other side is plenty of psychologists have made videos about her. Most of them have concluded that she's a narcissist, but they don't count, not according to her. Why not? If people can look at you objectively, people who are trained, who have experience, can look at you objectively and say, this is a bad person. Why then are you just doubling down? Why then are you just going, nope, you stupid eeks, you stupid estranged adult children, that's not them. These are people looking at you through the lens of their work, not their feelings, but they're wrong too. So there's no good way to criticize a narcissist. You're just always going to be wrong.
I'm kind of a people pleaser.
You're not a people pleaser. You don't want to make other people feel good. You want people to like you so that they agree with you when you show them who you are, That's not people pleasing, that's being manipulative. Being on Twitch, being on YouTube, being in a space where everybody wants to be a massive content creator has shown me too many people like that. They unfortunately do not have kids, at least not yet. But when they do and they end up being just like you, I'm not going to say I was surprised. They're not people pleasers, they're manipulators. They will say and do nice things for you with the expectation of you just agreeing with them when they show you who they really are.
I want people to like me, and clearly they don't, so.
I want people to like me, and because I'm a people pleaser, I've decided to make myself the most unlikable person on the internet. And instead of changing anything about myself, I'm just going to assume they're wrong. If you don't like me, that's your problem, but I want you to like me. What? How does that work, dude? If you want someone to like you, you have to be likable. If when my partner and I met, I walked up to her and like pulled her pants down, you think she would have liked me? No, you have to be nice. Maybe funny, maybe smart. A genuine person, not a one-to-one recreation of the evil lady from The Emperor's New Groove.
It is what it is.
She says she's had so many parents reach out to her and say thank you, but it is just, unfortunately, confirmation bias, right? In the same way that Asmongold can turn on his stream and say there are certain cultures that are subhuman, and he gets a bunch of people in chat going, oh, thank you. I was thinking the exact same thing. You're so right. People agreeing with you doesn't mean you're right. People have agreed with the wrong side of history throughout history. And as someone who has lived through all of it, I'm surprised you don't get that. And her response to that would be something like, well, how do you know you're on the right side? Well, I think the side that wants to protect your daughter instead of the side that wants to attack her is probably right. The side that is advocating for peace internally, externally is probably right. The side between estranged parents and estranged children that does not want to the other side is probably right. The side willing to leave a conflict they didn't start might be right here. As children, it is not our job to raise parents, although some of us have been given that task. My mother dropped out of school when she was 7 years old to raise her 9 siblings. She did not have a chance to grow up, and unfortunately, we kind of did that together. It destroyed our dynamic, and we will never have a mother-son relationship. That sucks, and for a long time growing up, I blamed myself for it. Didn't tell anyone, just kind of dealt with it. And now as a full-grown adult, I'm not going to sit here and speak ill of my mother. I will say the things that she has said and done, and they're not very positive. But to try and blame a literal child and their parent equally for their relationship, for the troubled upbringing, is stupid. One of those people has a job, and that job is to raise their child to the best of their ability. And if you honestly do it, if you honestly try, that child is going to be so forgiving of who you are and who you raise them to be, even if it didn't produce the best outcome. There's a reason generations of children want to grow up to buy their parents a house. There's a reason generations of children are best friends with their parents when they're finally grown. There's a reason generations of children are happy to move their parents into their home when their parents get old. But to be on the wrong side of this, and to blame your child for not being raised better by whoever their parents may have been, well, that's just stupid.
The wrong people, I guess, need a place to vent.
The people who criticize me in any way are wrong, period. Cool, fantastic. That's what every single video has led to. There is no way to prove to this woman in any way that she did anything wrong ever. That's it. She dealt with it. She's moved on so much so that she still makes videos about it to let you know that you're wrong, actually. She's gonna end this video by explaining the last 2 minutes of the original video that got us all here. She once again mentions how her daughter had set a boundary of, hey, don't contact us unless it's an emergency. She says, after those 3 years, we have not had an emergency since. She has mentioned a couple of times that, okay, maybe she shouldn't have contacted her in those like middle years, but you did anyway. And I guess it's not your fault that you did because you didn't believe her when she had set a boundary, right? The one thing you're willing to say that you're maybe a little wrong about, you still can't apologize for.
So I am respecting her boundary.
You're not respecting a boundary. You are dealing with the consequence of not being able to break a door down. For 3 years, you were kicking and kicking and kicking and kicking at the door that she locked, and you're not respecting it by eventually giving up. You are giving up, and you should have done that 3 years prior. She then says, with that respecting of a boundary, she has realized that she cannot put her life on hold to one day hope that maybe her daughter is going to come back to her. Where was that 3 years before accepting that boundary? Where was that 5 years ago? No one is blaming her for car camping or for driving around or hanging out with her husband while her daughter doesn't want to talk to her. The only thing you really get blamed for is making videos indirectly directed at her to try and make yourself feel better by attacking her. If these videos were really just self-reflective and educational in nature, no one would really have a problem with them. But when you are sitting here attacking people, groups of people, and then going, I'm going to delete that video where I attack trans people, or I'm going to delete that video where I get a little homophobic. You're just wasting space. You're wasting time. And it's so easy to say, well, you don't have to watch that video. You're right. None of us have to sit here and watch. But it's a car wreck. It's an explosion. It is watching your neighbors outside in the middle of a fist fight. I hate it. It doesn't make me feel good to sit here and listen to Diane talk. In fact, it makes me feel really bad. It's funny to make fun of her sometimes, but when I have to listen to her talk this much, it sucks. But again, I guess I'm just thankful I'm not her daughter. She says, if I die without having talked to her again, what do I want her to know? I want her to know that I love her, which is great. More words. You should have acted like you loved her. I want her to know that I'm happy she is following her dreams. Cool. Maybe don't stalk her TikTok and call it weird and exotic then.
And I know she has a good heart.
I wish her all the best. And that I know she has a good heart. Despite what she's doing to me, I know she has a good heart. Not, I know she's doing what's best for her. Not, I'm glad that she's made it out of here. Just a weird roundabout way to say, this isn't like her. She's a good person. The Haley I know would never do this to us.
So it's not 100% all on you, the parent.
She ends the video by saying, estranged parents, you can do it. You can move on. You have to remember that your kids are out there living their own lives. You know, they have other influences now, other content they consume, other friends they have, other places they are. So it's not entirely on you. Estranged parents, you need to keep sharing your story, which you have to understand. In trying to platform other parents, mom estranged from 4 adult children, estranged mother loses son, gets him back, but is internet addiction causing estrangement? And a few others that have now been deleted. She realized pretty quickly that all these parents are kind of whack. That all of these parents very quickly found themselves on the wrong side of the comment section, even from your audience. So she ends the video by going, estranged parents, share your story, but I'm not going to listen to it and I'm not going to platform it. But keep doing it. We can't let them think that they're right. And that is it. That is the last Diane produced video I'm going to watch of her for a long, long time. I hope. Tomorrow, we'll go through Bose's I'm the Real Victim. Narcissistic mom reacts to her estrangement. Surprise, again, free square. I'm Diane and I'm the victim. And I hope to God, hopefully not the same God that Diane believes in, that's the last time I have to hear her voice or see her face for a long time. I'm going to call it there. I'm going to go edit this video. Thank you for spending time with me. This is very painfully my favorite thing to do. And you are very much my favorite people to do it with. You could say goodbye to Toast, but she's a heavy, heavy sleeper. She's to the point, you can't hear it, but when I have my phone on speaker and she's asleep, people can hear her snoring. She's a loud girl. Okay, but like, all right, get out of here. Go. Goodbye. If you're buying a Switch too, let me know how you like Mario Kart. I'm not getting it until Legends ZA comes out, I think. Or, I don't know, maybe I'll get one in a couple of months.